Recording.
Go ahead.
All right.
U.S. House School were back in 28. There wasn't any comparison, but the one thing that seems to be different from today is I think the teachers were more dedicated.
Mm-hmm.
We had a teacher, the school I went through, you had two buildings. One went from the first to the to the third, the other one from the fourth to the seventh.
Mm-hmm.
And the teachers made sure that you got what you needed,
Mm-hmm.
and then some. Because we had a teacher in the upper grades, the fourth to the seventh. He was very demanding about it. He often told us, said, "Look, I have mine. You have to get yours." But he didn't say it in a derogatory way. He said it in order to try to impress you to strive to do better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think by the dedication of the teachers then, we, even though the schools were not on a compatible level with the white schools, I think we still maintain a certain average, because a lot of times when we went up against the white schools or went up against schools that were supposed to be a little higher, we didn't falter on that. As a matter of fact, we stayed competitive with them.
Okay, what schools was this in Rosedale?
The first school I went to was called Lawley. It's up on Route 7 up near Bradshaw.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little community up there called Lawley, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
My first teacher was Miss Eva. Her name then was Jenkins, but she died about 4 years ago, and she had remarried, and her name was Eva Penn. And I was lucky enough to be able to go to pay my last respect to her. Our teacher in the higher grades was Elijah Gwynn. The Gwynn family has been very highly noted in the area out around Glenarm. Most of them were teachers or in the professional or academic field. And he always strived to always do better,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And we had classrooms from 4 to 7, but the fourth graders were exposed to the work of the fifth, sixth, and seventh. I think this was a plus for them, because some of the fourth graders were able to do the fifth and sixth grade work by just being exposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
It was one teacher, but they maintained discipline. If you did something wrong,
Mm-hmm.
you got a beating. And I think there was a pretty good rapport between the teachers and the students.
Mm-hmm.
One time, I don't know how it came about, but I think I asked him, and he said that he had taught everything from murderers to professors. And before he died, I found that out to be a fact. He died about 20 years ago, Elijah Gwynn.
Mm-hmm.
And I did have an opportunity before he died to go and visit him at his home up in Glenarm. And I thanked him, because even though at the time when you did something wrong and you got a beating for it, you thought it was, you built up a hatred. Later on in life, I found out that really it was a plus to me, because I think it made me a better person, you know. I think this is something that's missing in the system today. There is no discipline in the school system. I had an uncle who was a teacher, and he quit because he said half his pupils were just as old as he was.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you strive hard enough, even though things were harder to come by, I think we produce more intellectuals rather than we do today, when you figure the population or what they had to cope with. Because everybody wanted to do better, but today, I mean, they have forgotten so much, you know.
All right, next question. During the 1940s, about the whites and blacks, what schools in that area that you actually lived in?
Well, I live within a quarter-mile proximity of Kenwood High School, but I couldn't go there because of the racial injustice. As far as elementary school, there was an elementary school going towards the city, which was about another mile. But later on in life, after the integration, my cousins, they were able to go there.
Okay. And how do you feel?
What about the education system?
Yeah.
I think I don't hold any animosity toward it because I think in one sense it was supposed to be separate but equal, which it wasn't. But still, I think we did very well with what we had. The school I went to, we really didn't have get the worst of books. We might have been maybe a year behind, but we had got new books and things like that. We took them home and we covered them with brown paper, and we had the studies we had. We had history, geography, arithmetic. What else? Ancient history, reading, and when we came home, I had about 6 or 7 books I brought home every evening, and had to read them and do homework. And I don't know. I think the desire was there that the individual wanted to better himself, and a lot of them did.
Okay.
Because strange as it may seem, back during the aftermath of the Civil War, the black man was more affluent in the South than he is today. I think at one time they were actually, I believe it was South Carolina, they were in control of the city, but the same old thing, for some reason they just fell off. But after I left there, I moved into the city and went to live with my aunt, and went to Dunbar, and the classes were, I think I was an average student, but later on, I think in about the 9th or 10th grade, I became interested in going to the science class that the teacher had. I think it was Miss Brown taught, and I used to go there after school and study physics and mostly physics. And it became interesting, and I later on in life, I wish I'd continued to pursue it because I enjoyed that. But it seemed like most of the things I wanted to do, or the careers I wanted to pursue, was limited. And in the 11th grade, I quit. And in between that period, I think from about 1934, 35, around there, I went to New York and went to school. And I think if I'd stayed there, I probably would have achieved the goals that I had in mind. Because if I'd stayed there, I think I would have graduated from high school at about 16 or 17. But so be it. I have no regrets. I do, yet I don't. It could have been, things could have turned out worse.
Okay. All right, well, that's a wrap. So, can I have your name?
My name is Lawrence Peel Sr. I was born in 1928. I am 82 years old and in fairly good health. I have 5 children. Mm-hmm. They're all grown. Mm-hmm. My wife of 63 years. And we both are in fairly good health. We're still able to provide for ourselves. Mm-hmm. And God has been good to us over the years.
Okay. So.
And my great-grandson is doing this interview.
Yes, that would be me.
So I've been fortunate enough to see my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. And one thing I wanted to do is maybe get with him and leave them a video information of their previous ancestors, such as their great-grandfather, from my knowledge, great-grandfather, and so forth, so that they can have something to pass forward, on to their children.
Okay.
You left about the grandchildren, didn't
Grand and great grandchildren.
you? You should tell them how many you had.
He ain't got that much time.